So on this channel, we talked about the looming threat happening on the commercial real estate stage, where a lot of office buildings are becoming vacant and a lot of these buildings are becoming due on their loans. And since a lot of these loans were purchased when mortgage rates were near zero, now that mortgage rates are higher, a lot of experts are believing commercial real estate is going to experience a crash. And on top of that, a lot of people are not working in office buildings as much as they used to. And so with less of a demand, there's not as much rent being paid to the landlords. And on top of that, they have to refinance their buildings at a higher rate, which will increase their mortgage payment, which they won't be able to support because people are not going to be paying for these office buildings when their employees work at home. But something even bigger threat that I see happening in the real estate stage in the housing market is on the residential side. So a lot of commercial real estate is done with different terms compared to residential real estate. So residential real estate, you're used to 15-year, 30-year loans. Commercial real estate is a little bit different. A lot of them are structured where they have a fixed rate for the first 3 years or the first 5 years, and then the rest of the loan is probably 20 years. However, there are some loan products in the residential space where people are able to get a fixed rate for the first 2, 3, 5, 7 years. And then after that, they are forced to refinance on that loan based upon what the market is doing, what the Fed is doing with interest rates, and overall how the lender will set that next interest rate. And so the same thing happening on commercial real estate is going to happen for some loan products on the residential space. And so there are going to be due a lot of residential real estate that's going to be due for higher interest rates. Now, the majority of these similar type of loan products, they're usually called ARM mortgages, so adjustable rate mortgages, where you have a set rate for the first few years, and then after that, the rate changes depending upon the different factors that I talked about. Some of the most popular ones are 5 years or a little bit longer, but there are some loans that are a little bit less than that. So you can imagine, let's say someone bought a loan in 2020, the end of 2020, or even early 2021, and it was a fixed 2-year loan because it is less expensive because you do get a discount because you're using this type of loan product. But then your balance is due, or you have to refinance that loan 2 years later. So let's say you get it in 2021 when it was around 2.5%. And then now in 2023, you have to refinance that residential loan where interest rates are over 6.3, 6.4% currently. So that will more than double someone's mortgage. And a lot of people cannot make that change or that adjustment on their finances. And even for one of the most popular ARM product, let's say a 5-year adjustable rate mortgage where someone gets it in 2020, 2025 is not that far away. And I'm not expecting mortgage rates to be below 4 or 3% anytime soon. And so people even getting the 5-year loan in 2020 and 2021, or even early 2022, is going to experience some change in their mortgage payment that they may or may not be able to handle. Now let's look at some articles to dig deeper into this issue, because I think this is a looming threat. A lot of people are not talking about these adjustable rate mortgages that a lot of consumers have currently, whether it's 2 years, whether it's 5 years, whether it's 7 years. These higher interest rates, we're going to have them for a good amount of time. Now, you can talk about it in different ways. You can blame the lenders because lenders actually do make more money if they sell these adjustable rate mortgage, because whenever these loans are adjusted for, they usually get some extra income. And of course, you can blame the consumer because they should have known this. They can't expect interest rates to stay this low forever. And so we're just going to talk about all of this in today's video. So please be sure to subscribe to this channel, comment down below your thoughts, and like this video. All right, so I'm here on this article. Now, this article is specific for the UK, but I think it still holds weight here in America because we have similar loan products. But here they're saying that homeowners who fix their mortgage deal for 2 years when interest rates hit their lowest point in history are now pursuing legal action over their broker's advice in what some claims firms say could be the next big mis-selling scandal. So borrowers coming to an end of their 2-year deal will be squeezed by significantly higher borrowing costs. Now here in the UK, they talk about 1 PC deals, 2 PCs, and that's the way they use it. But because these 2-year fixed rate deals come around for renewal over twice as often as 5-year fixes, brokers essentially get double the money for recommending shorter fixes. And that's what I was talking about, that the lenders actually get paid more if they can sell you these type of products. Yeah, there are some advantages to these products because initially you do get a lower rate than a 30-year or a longer term mortgage. mortgage, but at the same time, it's not predictable, right? It's not consistent. You don't know exactly what your mortgage will be 2, 3, 5 years down the road when that initial time period ends. This is the UK once again. So 2-year fixes were 0.3 percentage points cheaper than 5-year fixes on average in November 2021. So there are some advantages to getting these. And like I said, it's because of the interest rates. Interest rates are usually cheaper initially for the first initial period that product has. The main motivation for some of his peers to sell 2-year fixes at the time would have been the fees. They knew they'd get another fee in 2 years' time. That's why so many people took them out. I don't know exactly how it works with the US with on these shorter term adjustable rate mortgages. I don't know if the lender gets paid once that person refinances 5 years down the road or 3 years down the road or 7 years down the road, but that's something to consider. And that was a big thing in 2008. A lot of people were getting these type of mortgages thinking that, oh, the economy will be fine and different things like that. And yes, mortgage rates did go down, but at the same time, home values crashed. And so that caused a lot of people to go through bankruptcy and foreclosure. So in 2021, this is in the UK once again, over 500,000 borrowers took out 2-year deals. You can imagine in the UK around this time, because now we're 2 years since 2021, and now all of these borrowers have to refinance their loans, which is going to double their mortgage payment. People cannot afford to just double their cost of living. Can you imagine your rent just being what it is right now, and then a year later, it's twice as much, or your mortgage payment being twice as much? And so this is a huge threat looming to the housing industry. And I know our main product in America for adjustable rate mortgages are 5-year, but I still think in 2025, we may not be at that point where the mortgage rate that someone got in 2020, 2021 is not going to be as low as what it used to be, right? And so in 2025 and 2026, what will mortgage rates be? What will the Fed be doing by then? Only time will tell. But I don't think we're going to go near 0% anytime soon. And so you can expect a lot of people not being able to afford these homes and foreclosures and pre-foreclosures rising. All right, here is just a definition of a 228 adjustable rate mortgage. And so this is a product offered in America actually, which I don't know why someone would do it. I understand like your circumstances may be different, but I feel like if you can qualify for a mortgage, the discount that you get in the first 2 years, unless you're trying to sell this property in less than 2 years, okay, cool. But essentially you get a 2-year fixed interest rate followed by a floating rate for 28 years. So the rest of the loan you don't understand what your mortgage is going to be for 28 years if you decide to hold on to that property, right? They also have a 327 where it's 27 years and 3 years. Initially you get a fixed rate, and then of course they have the 5-1 where they adjust it once, the 5-5 which is adjustment every 5 years, or the 5-6 where it's an adjustment every 6 years. All right, so just looking at this chart, you're seeing an increase of ARM mortgages, obviously because interest rates are high, but a lot of people are predicting mortgage rates to possibly hit double digits, and it may be required in order to really lower home prices so affordability will be accessible for most people wanting to buy a home. But it's interesting, if you look over here, yes, they're at all-time lows because interest rates were low, but once again, there were still people buying and purchasing and financing homes using these ARM mortgages. And so you see, May of 2021, around 3.5% of all loans were ARM mortgages. So 13,400 loans were that. And yes, that may not sound like a lot, but that still affects a lot of people. It affects the market. It affects a lot of things. And so it's something to consider for sure. And let's say someone got a 5-year mortgage here, and let's say mortgage rates actually do hit 10%, right? What would that do for that person in 2026 and 2025 when they got their mortgage? Now, a lot of these people won't be able to sustain that for sure. And another thing I just want to point out is that the increase of ARM mortgages, it is concerning because people do think mortgage rate will flatten out, but there's still a possibility that it will raise again. And so if more and more people are taking out ARM mortgages at the 6%, 6.5%, and then it goes up to 10% in like 2 or 3 years, that is something to consider also. All right, you all, let me know your thoughts down below. Do you think this is an actual real concern? I know in America, the rates of people taking out ARM mortgages is pretty low. And on top of that, people taking these 2-year ARM mortgages are even lower. But other countries like in the UK, they're experiencing that where 500,000 borrowers were on this 228 ARM mortgage essentially. And now they have to refinance, and this is going to more than double their mortgage payment. Let me know know your thoughts down below. All right, thanks for watching. Talk to you all later.